Hello, my name is Mariah-Jane Thies of the Radiant Dance Teacher. Thank you so much for your interest and therefore time in watching this little video where I'm just going to share a few ideas about To the Point Beyond Exercise, the course that is in launch phase right now. As the title implies, it is a pre-point program, helping students to work towards readiness for point work. It can be, as expected, for female ballet dancers working towards point work. It could also be for male ballet dancers who wish to maybe go on point or simply develop their feet more. It can also be for any student who is just looking to have better function sort of from the ground up. Foot function affects everything up the kinetic chain. So most of the concepts in here will be effective for all dance genres because a foot strong enough to be on point is also a foot that's really great at jumping. There are a lot of programs out there, paid and free, that I've seen on YouTube, that are all about checking for pre-point readiness. This is not the same thing. This is not a course to check for point readiness. This is a course to actually help students to become ready. It's no good going through, say, the very commonly known pencil test, where you're putting the pencil over the front of the arch to see if it's stretched enough. What good does that do? What we really need as teachers and students is, what are the causes of a foot being tight at the front of the ankle? And what are the solutions beyond simply telling a student you need to stretch your feet more? If they're looking to do point work, they probably already are trying to stretch their foot really hard. I've seen many videos for pre-point work just simply telling dancers to stretch their feet fully. We all know this. But aren't you curious about the reasons for the differences between students who have tight feet and looser feet? What is the cause of those blockages? And of course, then what's the solutions? And I gotta say, you know it, your students know it. Hearing hundreds of times to stop curling their toes usually doesn't stop them curling their toes, at least not anytime quick. So what are the causes of toe curling, and what can we actually do to make that change into a released foot that's able to point without the curl? This course is going to answer those types of questions and a whole lot more. Never will there be a lesson in this course where I'm just telling you to tell your students, point more, stop curling. There will always be explanations, anatomy, reasons, really deep reasons actually, back to developmental patterns and reflexes as to why things are happening. And when we really get to the root cause, what are the, not words, but movement experiences that will help teach the body to be different? Words don't teach, experiences do. So telling your students to stop curling, for example, doesn't usually change much. We actually have to help their body to have the experiences that are different. That's what this course is designed for. And of course, I'm not just going to be looking at the feet and ankles. When you're trying to prepare for point, it's a full body experience. So there will be lessons on vision training and eye focus, being able to adjust to the new height and using your eyes for balance, development of the vestibular system, so you actually have great balance. Obviously, there will be some lessons about posture and alignment, as well as even understanding continuous flow and movement so the dancers are breathing and able to make the micro movements necessary to have good balance. That is my promise to you. Full body explanations and solutions with experiences for you and your students. A whole lot of imagery as well. But as this name also implies, it is beyond exercises. So even though the exercises I think are well thought out, progressional, and truly get to the root of many an issue that we see our dancers face today, there's so much more. The maturity that is required, the ability to focus, take ownership, remain motivated even when it gets a little tough or perhaps a little painful, all of that requires development as well. That is part of the course. There's goal setting, self-assessment skills, noticing skills, how to stay motivated, how to stay on task. All of that is part of the program as well. You can consider it to be like the scaffolding, the support for the dancers to actually do the exercises that they need to do. If they don't have a goal that motivates them to practice and to stay on target for the entire course, they probably won't do it. It'll be wasted time and money. So part of the course is to keep them on track. And that takes a huge weight off of you if you were to have the studio program where the students are taking the course with you. You don't have to be the one motivating them. I can do that, and I will do that. It really is a course that's truly unique. It is decades of information all coming together. Personal experience with my own left ankle that went through trauma, and the difference between the flat foot I had after this trauma and the fact that my arch is back now. I am my own success story, and I want to share how that can happen, as well as a whole lot of personal development that I've been through kind of the school of hard knocks of life, and the desire to always be motivated, have my goals, and be positive and actually take ownership of my life and work towards them. All of that I have studied way beyond the dance studio to bring in all sorts of different modalities, from the brain gym certification I have and reflex training certification to even energy work. All of that is all in this course. Why? Because we're holistic people. We need all of it. So there's sort of body, mind, and spirit training. Unique body and actually putting in the mind and spirit stuff. So if you were to be taking the teacher course, you can learn from me and apply to your students. If, however, you have your students taking the course because they are on the studio program, they can get that information from me directly. So now a little bit about the various options that there are. There's actually 3 options. There's a student-only course, which probably is not what you're interested in right now. That would just be if I happen to reach any individual students who decide to take the course. There is a teacher course, which is, as it sounds, just for you teachers. It is the student course with a whole bunch of teacher additions. So you would be getting the same lessons plus, so that you can know what the students are learning and how I'm presenting it to them. And then you could choose to present it the same or similarly. The one thing I want to point out, though, is I do recommend the studio program if you can, because I've done the work of making it incredibly progressional and pulling in all those extra pieces, like the goal setting and motivation and all that. And for a lot of teachers, they simply don't have the time to do those extra pieces. And it might even be an added workload that you don't want to have right now about, oh, she just presented a new idea. Now I have to figure out how to present that to my students. You could, if you take the teacher-only route, by all means, make it your own. But if you don't want to have the added workload of making it your own and remembering the progressions that I did, then by all means, see if you can have your students get on the studio program. So what is the studio program? The studio program benefits students, teachers, and studio owners. Studio program benefit for students would be, well, they're going to get all the motivation and guidance that they need if they were to even do it on their own. The teacher benefit, I'd like to have a lead teacher for, say, 5 students. And if you've got more than 5 students, there can be even more than one lead teacher. So whoever teaches the ballet the most, or the Pre-Pointe program, let's say, you get to take this course for free. Yay! Because if you've got, say, 5 students paying to be part of the studio program, you don't have to pay. So there's a bonus for you. And again, the other bonus would be you don't have to figure out the order of teaching everything. I've done that for you. So for example, we're going to work on mobility before flexibility. We're going to work on sensitivity before strength. We're going to work on strength and muscle balance before stamina. Like all those do this before that, that's on me. I've thought it through and I'm sharing it with you. Or I just share it directly with your students. And the reality is, for studio owners as well as teachers, if your students were to take this program on the studio program, it's like they get an extra hour to 90 minutes of class every week that you don't have to teach, that you don't have to use up studio space and time for. And as a studio owner, you don't actually have to pay the teacher. So here's how it works. Your students enroll for the price that is laid out, and you can have a look at that in a separate document. It depends on how many students are enrolled. Have your students enroll on sort of the wholesale price. Once they've paid, you pay me. Okay, no out-of-pocket expenses for you. But here's the cool piece. I think I'm kind of undercharging a lot for the student program, but that's because I'm hoping there'd be multiples. It's not just one student from studio. There could be 5, 10, 15, 20 if you want to have other dance genres work on it, so all your contemporary students take it as well, for example. You, the studio owner, you can add a markup to market value. So wholesale to market value. Perhaps you can sell this course to the students and really the parents, I suppose, and make $100 on every single one sold. That's actually what I'm hoping for. When I worked on my Return to Radiance program, helping students or helping studio owners and teachers either avoid burnout or recover from it, a reality really hit me, which is a lot of burnout is not just feeling unappreciated and overworked, but it's feeling unappreciated and overworked when you're not making enough money to make it seem worth it. And I absolutely had years like that when I ran my own studio. And that's actually why I came up with the idea of the studio program, was to give you, studio owners, the opportunity to make some additional income without scheduling classes, using up prime time, space, or even paying your teacher, just pure profit and students getting accelerated training. Maybe even unique marketing because you have this accelerated training. You're embracing the future by having some online also included. And please note, I am well aware that students training at home, safety is a huge concern. But to me, that is a challenge I love, and I think I've risen to, of teaching them self-assessment and noticing skills so that they can be at home safely developing their skills. And the more they get good at self-noticing and assessing, the better they are at home practice, the more motivated they will be to practice. I believe that any of the students who take this program will also practice more, say their jazz choreography, their contemporary solo, because they're going to get more ideas on how to actually effectively practice rather than just floundering around at home, not really knowing apart from doing it over and over. Okay, so I believe this program can elevate all aspects of technique and performance in your students. So studio owners, I'm speaking to you, but teachers, if you want to take the teacher program, I also highly encourage you to have at least one, maybe 2 conversations with your studio owner about having them take this course as part of the course offerings of the studio. It's not just so that you get the program for free. That's your payment for convincing your studio owner perhaps, but because really the more students that take it, it elevates everybody in the whole studio. And isn't it lovely when everybody's on the same page? All right, there's more information to go. There's a Q&A that I'm going to share with you below that happened earlier. But my final piece for this message right now is that this course just launched on September 18th. And I've got a special launch price for you that goes up October 1st. So just in the month of September, the teacher's course is $347, and that's US dollars. After that, it's going to become $397. So you've got about, a week or so, depending on when you watch this, to decide to go ahead and do that. And there's a similar price thing going on with the studio program and the student prices. So please act fast if you want to get the special deal. All right, and with that, thank you so much for taking the time to watch. I am absolutely available to you for a Zoom call, FaceTime call, whatever you like, even just an email, to answer all your questions so you can see if this is a program that you believe will benefit your students. I do have a money-back guarantee. I just ask that you, as a teacher, or the students all take it and actually do all lessons for a full 30 days before saying, oh, this isn't what I expected. I guarantee you, if you do the first month, I guarantee you after you do the first few days, but that you'll realize there's a lot of information in here that you want. All right, and with that, another note, my gift to you for watching this is that you get to watch lessons 1 and 2 for free. I look forward to working with you personally in the teacher programs and seeing you on the Zoom calls, or even better yet, with your students and seeing them on the personalized studio program Zoom calls. So we have some Q&As throughout the session. Okay, thank you so much for watching. and I look forward to working with you.